everyone, and welcome to the D and G vlog. I'm D.
And I'm G. What's up?
And today we'll be talking about a very controversial topic. We'll be talking about social justice and social injustice. So Gareth, do you want to give us like a basic definition of social justice?
Okay, so social justice, it comes from the Greek. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I'm joking, right? Okay. The social justice. Social justice is where we come in to, I guess, alleviate or like fix a problem, where the problem, I guess in this case, is injustice, where someone's human rights, someone's human freedom has been infringed upon. So for example, every human being here has got a right to health, for instance, a right to get different medical care. But if you then stop someone from getting that medical care based off your own prerogative, that's an example of social injustice. Yeah. That's just from my head.
Yeah, and like in general, oftentimes it seems like Christians sometimes will either like not care about social justice at all and just like focus on the spiritual issues and not really like talk about the issues of injustice around us from the biblical perspective. So we want to talk more about like how does the fact that we're Christians shape how we look at the injustices around us and how we react towards that. Off of the top of your head, like how do you tackle that when you see like something happening that is like just not right? What is your first reaction as a Christian?
I think I'll be very honest. Like sometimes when you see some of these like things happening, you feel really bad, but I think a lot of the time you feel helpless. I think that's the bit of the scary thing, the tension, I guess. But as Christians, we've been resourced with so much. Like there's someone I know he likes to say that as Christians we should think of ourselves as problem solvers, like where God has placed us. He's placed us there to solve different issues and problems. So it can go beyond number one, like creating awareness. Creating the awareness. Like I think before you were talking about like Imago Day and just for the month of June, you want to share a bit about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
So like for me personally, it boils down to people being made in the image of God.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the fact that
Imago,
Imago Dei means the image of God. So as human beings, from Genesis, God made us in His image and He poured out His Spirit in us. And so we are valuable and we have dignity, not just because we are not dogs or we're not rats, but because God made us in His very image. And that should make us look at another human being and see their value and worth. And because of that, we should grieve when we see people mistreated. June 13th is a day of awareness for people living with albinism. And we look at those guys and we see their worth and value because they're human beings made in the image of God. And when we see that they're being killed or they're being mistreated and like their parts taken apart, our hearts break because we understand that they're valuable and worth because they're made in the image of God. And so my usual reaction towards injustice of any kind is usually like, it's wrong because they're made in the image of God, they're image bearers, and which is why as Christians we must take a stand against things that happen in society. We must be the first to react. As Christians we should be the first to react. We should be the first to take a stand and say, what can we do about this problem? Right? And so like practically speaking, what are some of the things we see around us as Malawians that really just break your heart and cause you to want to do something about the current situation?
I mean, like, I think off the top of my head, I can think about like, in our cultural context, I guess there is this tension between males and females, and you find that a lot of girls are getting, early pregnancies. You find that a lot of them are getting married at a very young, tender age, are not given a chance for education. So I mean, you find that just a lot of these girls are just sitting and they're not being given the free right to education or just to better themselves and develop themselves. So I think one thing which the church did, a practical example, during my third year when I was in Lilongwe, I was attending Flood Church, and Pastor Sean often used to refer both in the service and like on social media, just about like Let Girls Be Girls campaign, the whole thing about stopping early marriages. So I think that was a really bold stance to see Christians, people of God, protecting the image of God, you know, by preserving the rights of girls with regards to education and, you know, different things like that. So I really found that example very, very practical. And even just like earlier on, was it I think it was this year or last year, this whole thing about abortion.
The
again,
pro-life march.
Again, it's pretty big. When you look at the stats, abortion is actually one of the top 5 killers in Malawi with regards to maternal death. So you find that, you know, different people in the church got together and they did that march just to create a sense of awareness. And, you know, sometimes all it takes is just to voice it out, and things can happen. So I really found that very, very amazing and very awe-inspiring to see people, Christians, you know, take a stand.
And ultimately, it is our understanding of the gospel is what should move us to help people. I mean, James also talks about like, what is it when you see like somebody suffering and you say, oh yeah, I'll pray for you, man. And somebody's hungry and they need food and you're like, I'll pray for you, and then you walk away. Instead of saying, I'll pray for you, but here is something that you can help you. And I think that getting involved in social justice and getting involved in helping people and alleviating their suffering is an opportunity for us to show our Christian love, and an opportunity for us to live out the gospel and live out the love for our neighbor, as the Bible commands us to.
And I think you really hit the nail on the head. I mean, just to like wrap up everything, that I think what differs, because we're not trying to propagate humanism. Humanism, the end goal is the happiness of the human being. And there's nothing wrong with the happiness of the human being. I mean, I want to be happy. You want to be happy. You guys want to be happy. But that's not the end goal. That's not why we were created. I mean, our end goal, the chief end goal, as John Piper likes to say, based off the Westminster Confession, that the chief end of man is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. And happiness becomes a byproduct when God becomes the focus. So the reason we're like really fighting for social injustice is so that people can be freed from their chains, people can be freed from the walls they feel entrapped in, people can be freed from social injustice, so that they can be freed and go and worship and glorify the God who created them. And I think, you know, I think about like the children of Israel, that there was so much social injustice. They're being oppressed physically, just being labored for, you know, for 400 years. And then God saw that oppression and he let them go. But the purpose, and as much as it created happiness, but the purpose behind all of that was so that they could worship God. So even as you go out there, whether it be at work, in your school, you're never too young to bring about social injustice.
Like one time, somebody once said to me, like, this person was not Malawi, and they're just visiting, and they're like, you know what, like, I've come here, and almost at every corner you turn, there's an opportunity to help somebody, because we live in a country where there's so much poverty and suffering, and like, it's not hard to find an opportunity to help. Like, you don't have to do something huge and extravagant to help somebody or to be part of a solution, but there's always an opportunity to be part of the solution. There's organizations that are doing great things and that allow you to be part of that. So there's so much suffering in our country, and there's so much we can do to help as Christians, and we should be the first to help, because we understand that human beings are made in the image of God. And as Gareth said, that through that we can help other people be free to worship God. And so be involved, be part of the difference. Don't just complain about problems, be part of the solution. And until next time.
See you guys. DNG.